The Los Angeles Kings keep on winning and are climbing in the Pacific Division. Meanwhile, the San Jose Sharks continue to fall out of playoff contention. We'll talk about both those teams and more as we look at the hottest and coldest teams in the NHL. Hey everybody, it is time once again to look at the 5 hottest and 5 coldest teams in the NHL. We're getting deep into the season now. It's crunch time. These playoff races are really heating up. There are some teams playing really good hockey, and there are some other teams that have pretty much fallen out of any sort of playoff contention and are racking up the losses and continue to do so as the season goes along. So I like to start with the positive. Let's get into it. Looking at the hottest teams in the NHL right now. Coming in at number 5, we have the New York Rangers, whose spectacular season continues. They are 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. They've won 2 games in a row. And New York's got a big matchup against the Pittsburgh Penguins this afternoon. That's going to be a big game for the Rangers, but they are playing very good hockey right now. Also 7-2-1 in their last 10 and on a 2-game winning streak is the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado continues to be one of the top teams in the entire NHL, the top team in the Western Conference. And it's just been another great year for Colorado. It's been another great couple of weeks for Colorado here. Despite a few losses mixed in, overall, they've won 7 out of 10. They're looking good. The Tampa Bay Lightning making a big push in the Atlantic Division, possibly trying to win that division this year. 7-2-1 in their last 10 games on a 3-game winning streak, playing really, really good hockey down in Tampa Bay, which you would expect from the defending champions. And next up, we have the LA Kings. This might be a little bit of a surprise, but man, the Kings are really pushing hard for a playoff spot in the West. They're in one right now, and they continue to climb the standings. They're just 7-1-2. In their last 10 games, they've won 4 in a row, and the Kings have moved out of wild card position and into a top 3 spot in the Pacific. I'm really liking their chances of making the playoffs this year. I honestly do believe that they're going to be a playoff team, and they are certainly playing like a playoff team right now. A lot of things going right for the LA Kings. And that brings us to number 1, and that, of course, is the Calgary Flames, 9-1-0 in their last 10. Now, they did lose their last game out, and it broke their 10-game winning streak. They actually got destroyed by the Vancouver Canucks. It was a very weird score to see after Calgary had won 10 in a row. But still, they've won 9 out of their last 10. No other team has even more than 7 wins in their last 10. Calgary's got 9. They have a chance to get right back in the win column tonight with a big game against the Minnesota Wild, who's a very good team in the West as well. And Calgary continues overall to play very, very good hockey. They're leading the Pacific Division, certainly a playoff team this year. And right now, they are the only team with more than 7 wins in their last 10, making them the hottest team in the NHL. Switching over to the other side now, we have the coldest teams. These are teams that are really struggling. Coming in at number 5, the New Jersey Devils, 3-7-0 in their last 10. They lost their last game out. And only 3 wins in 10 games for the Devils. They have sunk down to second to last place in the Metro Division. And it's been yet again another long year for the New Jersey Devils. Coming in at number 4, we have the San Jose Sharks. They're 2-4-4 in their last 10 games. Now, they did win their last game out, but they still only have 2 wins in their last 10. Luckily for them, they have lost 4 games in overtime, which means that they still at least get a point out of it. But the 2 wins is certainly not moving them higher in the standings, and their playoff chances are diminishing by the day out in the Pacific Division. At number 3, we have the Philadelphia Flyers, the bottom team in the Metro Division this year, 2-6-2 in their last 10 games. They lost their last game out in regulation, And the disastrous season for Philadelphia continues. Certainly looking for them to be big-time sellers at the deadline this year, and they're going to have to make some major changes to that lineup and to that organization as a whole if they want to get back on track. It's been another brutal season, just like last year for the Flyers. At number 2, we have the Seattle Kraken. The league's newest team is just 2-7-1 in their last 10 games. They've lost their last game out in overtime to the Bruins, and there haven't been that many wins this year for Seattle. They're the bottom team in the Pacific Division. Certainly looks like they're going to be staying in the bottom spot in the Pacific Division, and they've been on this list quite a bit this season. But they're not number 1, and that is because number 1 is the Buffalo Sabres, who are also 2-7-1 in their last 10 games. However, they are on a league-leading active win streak, or losing streak, of 5 straight losses for the Buffalo Sabres. So, yeah, it's not been a good stretch here for Buffalo. It's been a very Buffalo-like season again this year, and once again, as it's been for the last decade, they are not a playoff team, and quite frankly, they're really not even close to being a playoff team. Coldest team in the NHL right now. So there you have it, everybody. Those are the hottest and coldest teams in the league right now. Some teams are playing really, really well and pushing for playoff positioning. And other teams, yeah, it's just not been a good year. And most of the teams on the coldest list are kind of, bottom of the standings type teams that you would expect to be on the coldest list this week. But that's where we stand right now. Obviously, next week we'll see what changes, who moves onto the list, who moves off, and all of that, what kind of switches up by the end of this coming week in the NHL. A lot can certainly change. But there's, right now, your hottest and coldest teams in the league. So with that, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, links to our merchandise store, membership, and donations are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.